different ways that you might be able to determine behavioral indicators of stress. Passive ways are the kids just sleepy all the time and they're tired. My guess is kindergarten, first grade, preschool, you're not going to see this. But third and fourth grade is when this really starts to occur. They're going to be sleeping more. I mean, you know, the high school student, junior and senior in high school, that has a lot of stress. They're sleeping through most of their morning classes. Stress reactors are things like kids that are very just playing with their hands all the time, kids that bite their nails all the time. They're ones that are high stressed most of the time, and those that have repetitive body movements. You also have to say and determine, you know, does the child actually have ADHD, or does the child stress about something? And that's why you get to know your kids and you make those discussions. So when kids are stressed, they do bullying and they threaten others. And you know, we've conditioned our society to talk about bullying is a bad thing and talk about, you know, why you don't do it. But one of the things that I think is important in anything that we do, we have to know where it comes from and where it originates. And bullying normally happens to kids that were bullied themselves, or that they have a really crappy home life and they're getting bullied at home by their parents, or a guardian or a brother and sister, something like that. So we have to always look at the origins of stuff like this. Children that stutter, that's normally a reaction to stress that occurs. It's something that will continue to adulthood as well. You know, we're all going into school here to be early childhood teachers. None of you are pursuing your career as, I'm guessing, not high school English teachers. You wouldn't be in this class. You'd be in ed psych. You wouldn't be in this class. But one of the things that you're going to see for kids that have major stress issues, if you were an English teacher, you would see it come out in the writing a lot. Kids that write about death and destruction are highly stressed, and that's something that guidance counselors have to deal with. Art projects. All art teachers now in the state of Pennsylvania, Ohio, actually pretty much the entire Northeast are K-12, and that never was the case before. It used to be separated K-6, 7, 12, but now if you're an art teacher, you're an art teacher. So they're going to take child development courses as well. But you know, art projects are another way that shows negative perceptions for kids. So be careful with stuff like this and pay attention. So everybody copes with stress differently. I'm going to talk about some techniques and some ways to do it. So what happens? Children should get information about the stressor. They can talk to others, search the internet. Teachers should be able to read books on stressors. And anything, everything, there's a children's book for everything. So if you're noticing that your kids are dealing with a particular type of stress, you're the new teacher that's coming in, read them a book about it. Some children will assert themselves on another, they'll withdraw and they'll leave the situation. Some will attack the others, but normally they'll attack or they'll push, they'll be physical out of fear. And you as the teacher have to note that. Most children, and I want you to know this, this is a big idea, but right here, this is a star big idea. Children cope with stress the most by just avoiding the problem. They don't want to confront people, and adults are like this too. We're not, you know, we're not confrontational creatures generally. But children cope the same way. They just avoid it. Good adults realize this is happening and take an active interest. So how do you make your class low stress? You give positive guidance, you give daily routines, you give leadership and growth opportunities, you deal with discipline encounters in a positive way. That's going to create a low stress environment. And none of this should be a surprise to you. We've been talking about this. We've been talking about this our entire semester so far here. You have to also find ways that you can act as a buffer between a child and a stressor. Teaching children to be calm and to relax is going to help them as well, and that's going to help really the kids ease their mind and control themselves. So I also say that children should take an active role, or teachers should take an active role in the lives of children. If you see problems that are occurring, you know, you need to discuss this with administration and guidance. Hopefully you end up working in a district with a good guidance counselor. You learn that the guidance counselor is the teacher's best friend, and I want the guidance counselor to be the teacher's best friend. So look for those environmental and sociological trends in the district when something does occur, and talk with the guidance counselors and talk with the principal if you possibly can. School is a buffer for most kids. They go to school to avoid life, and that's You know, you might think that's bad, that's sad, but it doesn't have to be. That can be a good thing. School can be an escape for kids, and that's good, because you as the teacher have the opportunity to positively influence that child for the rest of their life, and we want you to do that. It's why we spend so much time in early childhood now really going over child development in practical applications of guidance principles to kids. So you want to find ways that children can escape stress. And you do that by telling the kid that they're special and showing them that you care about them. It's probably the smartest and best things that you can do. So, physical approaches to help kids relax. Just having them breathe and take a deep breath, or stretch breaks. Having kids stretch a rubber band. Our textbook suggests this. Yeah, I've had some issues with that with some of the teachers that I've worked with, where kids will be stretching a rubber band slowly, but they end up being shot across the room and smacked on other kids. So, I guess maybe it'll work for some of them. I think things like yoga stretches, or just even having brain breaks and stretching and jumping a little bit can help. And take breaks. Don't engage a child for 3 hours straight of work. That does nobody any good. So I can't say this enough. You can't have stress as a teacher. You have to be on stage every single second with a kid. And if you aren't calm and you're not stress-free in your position, then that kid picks up on it. You are going to cause them more stress. This is not a good thing. You can't let students see you ever stressed. You need to give them a safe, calm environment. And a good principal knows within 5 minutes if the teacher's actually, their heart is in the right place. So this is it for this chapter. I'm preferential to this chapter. I need you to know that going into the final, because on the final we have chapters 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. I like this chapter a lot, but we have a leniency bias and a halo bias to things that we care about and we're passionate about. I'm passionate about this chapter. I think this is important. I use it in my doctoral level classes. I use it in my master's level classes. So I value this chapter more than most of the other chapters in the book. So how should you prepare on an exam? Well, I'm going to go over this chapter. This is going to be probably one of the ones that I stress the most on your finals. So I would watch this video. If you have any questions, you need any assistance or anything on this, search for my name on Google, read my dissertation. It's on this stuff. This is what I wrote about. So I care about this and I'm passionate about it, and I want you to know that, and I want you to see it. So if there's anything else I can do to help, please let me know, and I look forward to going over some positive guidance strategies with you to end our course.